everyone, myself Bhumi Patel, Assistant Professor at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology in the Department of Instrumentation and Control. Today's our topic is PID modules in the unit number 17, Analog PLC Operation. As we studied earlier in the unit number 70, how to convert this BCD module to the binary or the binary number to the BCD using the PLC programming. Now in such application, if we have used a proportional, integration and derivation module, that time what is the block format of the PID module using the PLC programming, and how we can program the PID modules in the PLC software, that we have to study in this lecture. So first of all, what is the PID module? So PLC often come equipped with the PID module used to process data obtained by the feedback circuitry. As you know, whenever we deal the PID module, suppose we have dealt some closed loop system, and the closed loop system is given like this. Okay, suppose a particular plant or the system, one type of controller is given. Suppose this is my TC, temperature controller, and then according to the controller we can connect the system with this controller. Okay, suppose the system transfer function is given S plus 1, and this is my actual output of this particular system. Okay, and then we have to apply some reference input of this system, and then we can connect the feedback element. In the feedback, we can connect some type of sensor or the temperature controller regarding sensor. So PLC often come equipped with the PID modules used to process data obtained by the feedback circuitry. So the closed loop system is compulsory for the PID module. Every time we can check the output, and if we cannot get the perfect output data, that time we can feedback this data to the reference input, and then we have to summarize this data, and then again we have to check the output data. So most such modules contain their own microprocessor. We can use a P controller, I controller, D controller individual for this particular plant, and we can also combine the PID modules for this particular plant. So most of these modules contain their own microprocessor. Suppose we can use a P and I controller for this process. So P controller has its own microprocessor and I controller also has its own microprocessor. So what is the actual block diagram of PID modules whenever we deal in the PLC programming? So input transducer is required, one type of sensor is required for this PID module, then the process being controlled, one type of controller, then the connecting device, which type of connecting device is used for this particular PID modules, and then proportional circuit, integral circuit and the derivative circuit. So according to the application or according to the output data, we can connect all the three circuits at the same time. Also we can connect one by one circuit for this system. Now compulsory and the must condition is that we can connect this PID module with the PLC. Okay, so first of all we can connect the PLC with the proportional circuit, integral circuit and derivative circuit. Now as you know, as you study in the process control subject, that how proportional controller work and what is the actual equation of the proportional controller and what is the actual graph or actual output of the proportional circuit. So using the PLC software or the PLC programming, we can adjust the proportional circuit or the proportional diagram. Suppose if we can change the gain, suppose P gain. Okay, if we can change the value of the P gain for this particular system, and after that if we can get the better output compared to the previous one, that time using the PLC programming we can easily change the gain of the system. If we can use only proportional circuit, so we can change the P gain. If we can use a proportional plus integral circuit, that means PI module, that time we can change the P gain as well as the I gain of the system. If we can use the proportional plus integral plus derivative circuit, that time we can change the P gain, I gain and the D gain of this particular system. Now the question is that how we can change the gain of this particular system. So whenever you connect the PLC with this PID module, some system is there, some facility is there in the PLC software. They will given some facility whenever you use the PID module. So using this facility, remember that in the MATLAB we can change the transfer function using this MATLAB function, and then we can stabilize the system. Same thing will be applicable here. If proper proportional graph is not given for this particular system, so that we can change the gain of the system, and then we have to check the output of the system. This is one type of trial and error method. The next or the important thing is that we have a proportional, integral and derivative circuit equation. So using this equation also we can calculate the P gain, I gain and D gain, and according to this data we can put this theoretical data to the practically and then check this output. Okay, so this is the block diagram of PID module. PLC input. So set point is also decided by the PLC. So the set point is given to the different circuit. Then if error signal is generated, we can connect this with the controller, and then whatever process is there is given, and then we can go through the input transducer, means we can apply to the feedback element, and after the feedback signal we can get the measure value. So in the PID module, if we can connect the PID module with this PLC, so set point is coming from the PLC module. So this is the simple block diagram of the PID module. Depending upon the plant, we can connect any of the circuit of this system. We can connect all of three circuits for this PID module. Okay, now actually what is the proportional circuit? So what is the function of the proportional circuit? The proportional circuit creates an output signal proportional to the difference between the measurement taken and the set point entered in the PLC. As you see in this block diagram, this is my measure value and this is set point from the PLC. So what is the actual function of the proportional circuit in the PLC? The proportional circuit creates an output signal proportional to the difference between the measurement taken and the set point entered in the PLC. Now, the integral circuit produces an output proportional to the length and the amount of time the error signal is present, and the derivative circuit creates an output signal proportional to the rate of change of the error signal. So this is the individual function of the different circuit. If we can use a PID module in this particular plant, so it is the best solution to get the best output. But in the average system, there is no requirement to connect the PID module, because overall circuit will be more. So for that, if we have a problem in the measurement value, that time we can connect only the proportional circuit. If we have error in the signal, that means the signal apply and there is a problem in the signal, that time we can connect the integral circuit. And if we have the error, if error signal is generated throughout the system, that time we can check using the derivative circuit. So the best option to connect the circuit with the PID module, we can get the best output. But every time we cannot connect the PID module with this PLC diagram. According to the application, we can connect P, only P, I or D, or we can also combination with PI, ID or PD controller, and the last option is that we can connect the PID module for this particular system. Now, how we can tuning the PID? So the PID tuning refers to the adjustment of the system mode. We can adjust the system mode using the PID tuning. As we discussed earlier, in the PLC software, they will given a specific data for the PID tuning. So using the changing the value of the P gain, I gain and D gain, we can easily adjust the system mode, and such tuning must be done online, that is while the process is running. This is the most important advantages of the PID tuning. Whenever we done with the programming with the software, and then the process is that we have to load this program to the PLC hardware, and then we have to check the output is proper or not. If there is an error generated during this hardware processing, that time using the PID tuning, if we can adjust the data in the software, same process will be done with the hardware with the online mode, and we can continuously check the process and continuously check the data up to now whenever we can get the proper output. So we cannot change the mode during the process. So using this PID tuning, we can easily check the output data. So three tuning methods are involved for the PID tuning. The first one is the open loop transient response. As you know, first of all, whenever we design any new system, we can deal only with the open loop system. If we can get the perfect output, we cannot go through the closed loop system. Okay, so the first method to use a PID tuning in the PLC module is the open loop transient response. The second one is the ultimate cycle. We can continuously check the feedback element using the ultimate cycle, and we can set the output proper. And the third one is the frequency response. If we deal with the Bode plot, polar plot or the Nyquist plot, and then we have to tune the PID circuit, that time we can use the frequency response tuning method. So these three tuning methods are used for the PID tuning. Now, in the PID tuning, first is the open loop transient response. What is the open loop transient response? In this method, the control parameters are determined while the system is in the manual mode of operation. The system is generally the manual mode operation and automatic mode of operation. So the open loop transient response will be control the parameter while the system will be manual mode of operation. The process control loop is open, so there is a no feedback occurs, because here we will discuss about the open loop system. Okay, so we will deal with the no feedback system. Now the tuning is begin by operating the process on manual control until the measure variable stay constant. So what is the actual function of the open loop transient response? First thing is we have to use a process control loop in only the open loop control system, and then we cannot consider the feedback system, and then we have to start the tuning with compulsory a manual mode control, and we have continuous check the output. Whenever the measure variable will be constant, we can get the proper output. Okay, so this is the open loop transient response. Now the next one is the we have to step change in the manipulating device is introduced, and the response of the control variable, now we have to record it. Now the control variable response to the manipulated variable change, and the resulting parameter will include the process lag and the process rate. Already you have to study what is the process lag and the process rate in the PID tuning. Now the second parameter to use the PID tuning is ultimate cycle. A loop is adjusted until the steady oscillation occurs. So the first thing that you have to remember, in the ultimate cycle we have to compulsory use a closed loop system, and we have to adjust this closed loop system until we can get this type of steady response. Okay, as you remember, we have two types of response. First one is the steady state response and the second one is the transient response. In the transient response we can get the maximum error, and in the steady state error we will try to minimize the error. So ultimate cycle loop, it adjusts the steady state response until the error becomes 0. The third one is the frequency response method. So Bode plot is obtained by opening the loop and providing a variable frequency disturbance of the controlling variable. So in the frequency response, generally we can use the three methods: Bode plot, polar plot and Nyquist plot. And as you remember, we can check the output for the different frequency using three methods. So in the Bode plot we can apply a different types of variable frequency for to get the controlling variables. Now typical PID function, if we can draw the block format of the PID function using the PLC diagram. So first of all we can define the loop and the update time. Okay, now what is the actual input? We can apply only one input. Enable input is on, that time we can get the output P and Q. So this is the typical PID function block format. Okay, if we can take the brief block format of the PID function, so generally in the PID function we can apply three inputs. The first one is the enable, then the manual or the auto control, and the third one is the hold. As you remember, we will discuss earlier that in some cases we can compulsory use the manual mode, so that time the manual input must be on. Now what is the actual format of the PID function? So in the PID we can set all the data. Okay, the first one is the PID. The value of the PID is always in the form of hashtag. It is the format of the PLC software. Then we have to apply the input data, output data. Then we can also set the set point of this particular closed loop system. If error is there, we can minimize the error. Then we can set the P gain, proportional gain, I gain means integral gain, and D gain means derivative gain. And then we can also set the deadband of this particular system. So this is the most important advantages of the PLC software. We can easily change the input as well as the output. We can also change the set point value. We can change the P gain, I gain and D gain according to the output, and we can set this output for the proper format. Now this is my output P and Q for the PID function. So this is the actual block format of the typical PID function, and here we can use a limb function and alter function. As you know, the limb function is used as the comparison function, that if we can check the value between these two values, that time we can use the limb function. Now this is the actual ladder diagram of the typical PID function. Three input is there: manual or cascade and the calculate. Now here we can distribute the two input, manual or auto. Okay, anytime only one may run. Okay, if the system is in the manual mode, auto input will be off, and if my system in the automatic mode, the manual input will be off. Then the system will be connected in cascade form. That time we have to on the cascade input. Okay, now in the block format we have to write the opcode, set point, process variable, output and loop table end. Okay, what is the set point that we have to decide using the plan? Then the different types of process variable that we have to measure in the PID tuning, and then what is the actual output and the loop table end. At which address we have to end my loop table. Okay, and this is the type of the PID function LT, and we have to write the reference number, which number of this PID function that will be executed at this time. So here we have to write XXXX. Okay, we have to write LT01, LT15, LT20. So using this number we have to identify which type of PID function that is performed at a time. Okay, now first of all, what is the opcode that we have to use here in the block format? Okay, so opcode is define the LT function as being a loop control function. What is the set point? This value is the desired value of the process variable. This can be a constant value. So we have to compulsory decide the set point of the closed loop system whenever we programming in the PLC using the PID tuning. Now in the set point, the value will be stored in this particular register. HR, that is the holding register. IR, input register. OR, that means output register. IG, that means input group. And OG, that means output group. So we can take the data from any of this location for this set point of the PID function. Now the third one is the process variable. This is the measure value of the independent variable involved in the process under control. Now again, at where position we can take the process variable? So in the holding register, input register and the output register, input group and the output group. Okay, so for the set point and the process variable, we can take the data from these all 5 of this location. Now the next one is output. Okay, so we can take store the output for this particular register, holding register, output register and output group. Okay, why we have to consider here holding register? Because if we can use the data for the other process or other plant, that time we can hold this data for this particular register, and then we have to take this data for this particular register location, and then we have to continue our PLC programming. If we can get the proper output, so we can store the data in the OR output register or the OG output group. And the last one is the loop table end. It is the last holding register. This may not be less than HR0032 or greater than the highest holding register available in the given process. So using this loop table end, we have to easily identify that this is my last holding data. After that there is a no process using this programming. Okay, so using the PID tuning, we can easily modify our PID module using the Pgain, Igain and the Dgain. Thank you everyone. If anyone have doubt regarding PID module using the PLC software, then you have to contact me in my